Hi, I'm Jonathan Russell, and I play Jedi Master Killian.
Hi, I'm Rebekah Russell, and I play Jan Morrison.
Hi, I'm Terry Thoreau, and I play Captain Gustav in Star Wars vs. Star Trek 6.
So get ready to be intrigued as we dive into the personal thoughts and opinions of the cast and crew for this awesome movie. So all good movies have to start with a story. And I'd already come up with this story pretty much on my own over the past 5 months from August 2014 to December 2014. So my first step in making this movie a reality was picking the cast and crew. In the previous movies, I had played the main character, so obviously I casted myself again, because I'm the main character, Jedi Master Killian. Justin, his character, he stopped being in it in the third movie, so he's coming back to reprise his role as James T. Kirk. Well, this is the sixth movie, and I thought, well, this is the last one, so I should bring him back. Rebekah, for the third movie in a role, is reprising her role as Jan Morrison. And finally, I needed somebody new for the role of the villain, Ivan Christoph. So I got my new friend, Terry Darrell.
When Jonathan asked me to be in Star Wars vs. Star Trek 6, I was really excited because I started doing these movies in the second Star Wars vs. Star Trek back in 2011, and I played as his apprentice. It was lots of fun, and it's cool playing different characters in his movies, because in the fifth one, I was Jan Morrison, and in the fourth one. So now the sixth one, I'm the same character, and it's cool to just, see the character move on and do different movies.
So I was looking forward for it to be a very good movie, and I had very high expectations.
Well, I remember we did the short movie called Atarius.
You think your world is safe? It is an illusion. The comforting lie told to protect you. Enjoy these final moments of peace. But I have returned to have my vengeance.
And I thought it was going to be something along the lines of that. And that was only like a minute long. And then when Jonathan came up to me and asked me if I wanted to be in one of his movies, the sixth movie of his series, I actually didn't kind of know what to expect. I thought it was going to be something like the short film. But since it had something to do with Star Trek, it's having something more intense. And so I was just really excited about it. And I just couldn't wait to just go over to his house on New Year's and just start filming.
Now that I had nailed down who played each person, I had to think what were the individual roles of each person going to be about. So that's the next part we're going to talk about, is the role of each character. So my character is Jedi Master Killian. Although his name has changed slightly throughout the series, he has actually been in through 1 through 6, the entire series. And what's really interesting about my character is just the changes throughout it. For the first two, he was just strictly against the Starfleet. He didn't like anybody beyond himself, namely Kirk, who was played by Justin. And then in the third film, he just suddenly has a change of heart and realizes that he doesn't need to be on the dark side anymore. And by the end of the third film, he's defending the person that he was attacking for the first two films. So by the sixth movie, we can pretty much assume from the beginning that Starfleet is the enemy now, which many people might feel differently about, that Starfleet's the enemy. But it's really interesting to see how Killian has gone from one thing to the other.
Well, I remember when Jonathan asked me about my role as Captain Gustav, the first thing I thought about was a captain. That's an authoritative role.
Again, I play Jan Morrison in Star Wars vs. Star Trek 4, 5, and 6. And Jan Morrison, her character, she's kind of spunky. She has this attitude where it's funny. I just sort of made up the attitude and it turned out to be successful.
Well, portraying the character Admiral Gustav, I played both counterparts. I played the evil counterpart, and I was fighting Killian. I also played the good twin when I came back and visited him after all those years.
So now that we've talked about who played who and what each person did, it's time to move on our talk about the production, the physical aspect of filming the movie. So, film production. So filming, it can be hard sometimes. At first when I go into it, it seems like it's going to be something easy that I'd really like to continue doing. But when you get towards the end of the day and it starts to get really cold outside, but you know you got to finish the last scene, it starts to drag on. And you know, I think at first, well, let's just forget the whole movie. But afterwards, the end, I'm always glad that I just continued to press on, even though maybe the situation wasn't favorable, and I just continued to do it.
Making this movie was a very interesting, fun time. I mean, we had some times where we went outside and it was really cold and we just had to make it. And this is the first movie we've made with Terry, and he was lots of fun doing this. He's a great actor. We had to take some retakes though because he's used to doing a script, but it was lots of fun and playing my character and us talking and trying to figure out what are we going to do to make this a really good movie. And this movie is probably my favorite of all the Star Trek movies.
Well, you know, it was pretty interesting because we didn't have a script. It was kind of all in Jonathan's head, you know, during the filming process. So it was a little tricky for me. It, you know, required a lot of improv and just short minute focus, meditation on my character, and it turned out to be pretty well. But what I really liked was the lightsaber duel. That was my favorite. We had really nice looking lightsabers. They were LED and expensive, and I just wanted to get out there and just make an action movie, basically.
In the production, it was great to work with Terry for the first time. I hadn't ever worked with him with one of my movies, as I may have mentioned before. So again, with every movie, it's always cool to get ideas, bounce off each other, and see how it was going to work out to maybe change the movie in small ways.
And also, besides the lightsaber duel, working with lightsabers, I also really liked when there was one part when I was standing near the window, and it was this total authoritative scene. I'm the commander in charge. I'm staring off into space through the window, and then my sidekick, my assistant, comes up to me and tells me she lost her arm in battle, and then I turn around and I'm like, we have to take care of this, and I'm like, what's rad?
So as the day of production ended and we had all the film, it was not over. There was a lot more to do. It was nowhere near done. So the next step, which we'll talk about, is the crew's thoughts on our editing, namely my editing. So now the biggest aspect of filming overall, in my opinion, editing. We can take all the little bits and pieces of film and just put it all together, but is it done? In no way, no. Editing obviously took way longer than the film at all. We filmed, I could say pretty much it only took us about 2 days to film. But yet this movie took over 3 months to put all together because every little thing needs to be added. The music, the sound, the special effects, it all needs to be put together. And it might seem like it's only a little bit, but this movie in particular, it was just so much to deal with.
Well, I really thought the editing and the special effects were really good. Jonathan spent a lot of time on this movie. And when it comes to editing and post-production, it really takes a while to get every little detail fine-tuned. And he did a great job. It takes a while, but I love the lightning and the lightsaber effects. It actually adds a lot to the movie, and every little detail counts. And it was really good. And I really enjoyed the movie and with that aspect in mind.
Sound effects is hard because this is a Star Wars versus Star Trek movie. So for every single hit of the lightsabers, every one, there needs to be a sound effect. Lightning, hardest thing ever to edit because I needed to move the little animated lightning to match Terry's hand, and I needed it to be in contact with my body. So frame by frame, I had to move it. And then to put that all together and see it combined, that took a very long time. But I was very pleased with the result, and I would gladly do it again to make a movie that could equally be just as well.
I thought the effects in this movie was much better than any other movie that we've really made because this movie had, lightsabers, lightning, it had all kinds of different things, the music and the sound effects. They were just really good. They really made the movie because if you didn't have those sound effects, it just wouldn't be as good. It wouldn't draw you into the movie. You just feel like, you're watching a professional movie. And the lightning was one of my favorite effects. I mean, I love the lightsabers and everything else, but the lightning was really good when Terry was executing Jonathan or Killian, and it was just like, it was really emotional. It got the music and everything. It just really tied it in and made it a really successful movie, I thought.
Now that we talked about the general topic of editing, I'd like to go a little more deep into what everybody thought about the music. So if I could sum up what the music editing did for this movie in one word, it would be feeling. If you could watch any movie, you may not notice how much you're affected by it. You may walk out at the end of the movie and say, wow, I was just really emotionally affected by this movie. And what you don't realize is that it's all the music. The dialogue, they can do as much as they want, but without the specific music that fits just right, it's just not going to work.
Music, like I always say, is very important in life and the success of movies. I mean, you look at some movies and you wonder, why is this movie better than this one? Why did this one make more money than this one? Maybe some of it is the actors and the story plot, but a lot of it is the music. You hear this great music and it really just draws you into the movie, and you feel what that character is feeling at that moment based on the music. All these different, like completely different composers, different movies, but it can all tie in together in the same movie because this music really makes you understand what this character's feeling.
I really took time and effort to think about which music I was going to use, and I was really happy with the way it turned out.
Yeah, you know, I thought that the music being added to the movie really just improved and enhanced just the general feel and the atmosphere to just watching the movie, and it just completely just made the experience just that much better.
Having done all the filming and the editing and picking the cast, it was time to get to the end of the movie. So that's our next topic, the thoughts of the end. For years now, I knew that the end of Star Wars vs. Star Trek was to come. After the first movie, I thought that was going to be it. Many of my movies are just a one-and-done thing and we never did a sequel to it. But later, we made a second and a third. And after that, I thought it was yet again done. We went 2 years without making number 4. I honestly thought that was going to be it. But little did I know that I would talk to my friend Riley and we would come up with a 4th film, which led in quick succession to the 5th and 6th film.
I've been making the Star Wars vs. Star Trek movies series for over 3 years now, and like Jonathan and Justin actually made one before I started, but it's taken 3 years to finish all 6 movies, and it's really good, and I really just am excited to see that it's done, and it's a really good ending. This episode, this movie, number 6, really just like finished it. All these different movies, you know, leading up to the climactic end, and then here it is, and then it's really good.
Now, concerning the ending, it really surprised me when Mike, the character I was portraying, Admiral Gustav, came in, and it was actually his counterpart to the evil twin that Killian was fighting, and that kind of surprised me, and that was a pretty cool plot twist. And there's a lot of plot twists in this movie, and it's kind of exciting to see every plot twist, because it kind of shakes the audience up, like they weren't expecting it.
I was really happy with the very emotional ending where he's remembering everything. He's seen everything that he went through, and maybe everything wasn't a pleasant memory, but nevertheless, it was memories, and I was just so happy. I watched that part again and again, and it might be sad, you know, hey, he's leaving, but, you know, it's also hopeful that he's forgetting his past troubles. He's just deciding to move on and start a new life, and that's what I was trying to hope for in this Star vs. Star Trek.
And, you know, I really like what my character said at the end. Like, you can just, you know, you can stay here forever, just kick rocks, or you can explore the galaxy, because that's what it was made for. And it was just kind of cool how at the end, you know, the evil counterpart was done away with. At the end, they just kind of teamed up and left their past memories behind, set up for the future. So I felt really good about that.
So having talked about most of the movie, it's time to get the cast thoughts on the cast. So, working with everybody. I was just really happy working with Justin and Terry and Lianna and Rebekah. Unfortunately, Justin and Lianna could not be in this documentary. They were just too busy to be here, but if I could speak to them, I know that they would really say that they liked the film as well. It's an interesting thing to work with people. You have to have cast compatibility. If people aren't happy working with each other, it's just not going to come out as well. And I can say that not only did we like working with each other, it was an experience and very enjoyable to work with each other.
It was lots of fun. I love working with actors and working with friends that are friends, and usually I worked with Justin and Jonathan Lianna has been in one other one, Star Wars vs. Star Trek 5.
And although I may be the director, it's nice to have other people that have other ideas to help me out. I mean, many of the scenes of the movie are because of cast's ideas. The entire ending where Killian has past memories and has to leave, that is all Rebekah's idea. I mean, I don't know how the movie would have ended without it.
And this is the first movie that Terry has been in, and it's a really different experience. It brings a more happy, fun, this is really cool atmosphere to making the movie, and it was lots of fun working with him. He was very energetic. He did some great things, some ideas he had on his own, like the barrel roll when he rolled on the ground and catch the lightsaber and started fighting again. And he had a lot of great ideas. It was so fun working with him.
I always thought that however it turns out, I'm happy with it. I thought they were just pristine for their characters, and it was definitely just a great experience choosing them.
And it was just really fun working with all the actors and really just having a great time.
So we've talked about many things, the how to pick the cast, and the production overall, the editing, what we thought about the music, working together with each other, but now it's time to talk about our final closing thoughts and our opinion of over the entire movie. So that's next on this documentary. So, my overall summary. Well, that's kind of hard. There's so much things to talk about the movie. Well, I was just really, really happy with this experience. And not only just to see my improvement in editing, but also just to see that the characters are moving on to bigger and better things.
Wow, 6 movies in 3 years. It finally came to an end. The series was one of our first movies that we had made back in 2011, and we were getting new at it. The effects and the editing wasn't as good, but it's cool to see the progress of how your movies get better, with the passing of time, how actors get better, how the music gets better, the effects, everything, and then when it all comes together, you think, wow, this is a really good series. I really enjoyed doing this, working with the cast, having a great time. I mean, we're all making memories here, having a great time, and I just really think that the conclusion to this whole series and this whole series was really good.
And that's kind of almost the undertone in this movie towards the end, that, don't limit yourself to one thing. There's always more to look forward to. Always push yourself to the limit and do as much as you can, because as the good version of Ivan Christoph said, what are you going to do here? There's so much world out there. There's so much stuff to see. Why limit yourself? So that's just what I was happy to see, that the movie almost had a moral towards the end.
When it comes to these movies, you really have to look past just all the camera angles and the effects. That's all good and it's great. But what in my opinion, what really makes these movies special is when you look past, just the surface, and then you see yourself in the story that the movie's trying to tell you, and just you picture yourself on this distant planet or whatever situation it is. And when it comes to your imagination, you can do anything you want. So you have the freedom to do so. And that's what I really think is special about these movies.
The cast, anybody's watching, I just want to say thank you very much for working together with me. Maybe sometimes I say, all right, let's stop talking, let's film the movie. And I kind of get in my director mode, because, I also coach basketball, and so I'm just kind of thinking in my mood, all right, you're like my team, we're working together. So sometimes I forget we're just cast members. So I'm glad you had patience with me. I just love working with you. I like doing it so much. I know you guys humor me sometimes. Maybe you didn't really feel like working together, but I was so happy to do it, and I just would do it over and over again. I thank all of you guys for doing it with me.
Well, we finally reached an end to this series. I'm really excited to see, what ideas Jonathan has that he can make more movies, and this was just a really good experience working with all these people and being Jan Morrison. So I hope you enjoyed the documentary, and this was a lot of fun, and hopefully I can see you guys in a new movie. So Bye.
Again, I just want to really say that I really enjoyed just being in this film, and I just enjoyed portraying the character that I was casted. So thank you, Jonathan, again. And yeah, I just want to say farewell to everyone watching this documentary. Thank you, everyone.
So again, this is Jonathan Russell. I played Jedi Master Killian. Thank you guys for watching this documentary. People have been following us through the entire series. It's time for the series to come to a close, starting in July 2011, going all the way through March 2015, even including this documentary. I thank you all for everyone for your support, cast and crew. Thank you all for working with me. It's been just a wonderful experience. I would do it again. Reach out to me if you have any ideas, please, for movies. I need them. So, thank you again for watching. If this is on YouTube, please comment. And everybody just have a wonderful day. Jonathan Russell, signing out.